in order to show how generic the Ice and Wind set are, I've made this list which separates the characters depending on their compatibility with the set from, only being able to use either of the sets, who can use both, and who has issues with their playstyle that could use the set but really can't because of the playstyle, or they can't really use that at all. Starting off with the who can use the wind set, we start off with Asta. Asta can of course use the wind set because you use her ult. The entire ally team gets a speed boost. Not to mention allowing Asta to have an advance forward, allows her to generate more energy and allows her to use her skill more often. That way, she can potentially break more shields or just have a potentially higher attack count on her passive. So more attack for the entire team. With Sampo, it's very, very self-explanatory. He's Wind, so of course he can benefit off of it. And him being Nihility, he wants to apply his skill and debuffs a lot more often, and using his ult will reduce the enemy resistance to debuffs, and because that will also allow him to act more, and it'll just basically help him. Luocha, of course, self-explanatory. He uses auto attack most of the time, but the occasional time you want to use his ult to fulfill the Abyss Flower stacks, he'll just gain a speed boost, and because he potentially acts more, he has less cooldown on his auto skill, and yeah. Pela, same thing. She has a really, really low downtime on her ult, so she'll move ult really, really fast and generate a lot of SP. With Tingyun can be a bit incompatible with the Wind set, but because of her incredibly high energy cost, I don't remember if it's 130 or 140. I pray it's not 140, but that can be a bit rough. But it does benefit her in the way that she can act more and she'll normal attack a lot more because the duration of her skill is based off on the target taking action and not Tingyun herself taking action. So yeah. With Luca, I know he's not out yet, but the same thing you could say with Sampo. You want him to act as much as he can in order to apply his skill debuff and yeah, maybe his ult debuff too. And again, same thing with Kafka, but especially more because with Kafka, you want to use her skill as much as you can in order to trigger all of the damage over times on the enemy, not to mention potentially have more activations of her follow-up attack. Yeah. Now with the Ice set, it doesn't really look populated, but as you can see, a lot of characters can use both. With Clara can of course use the Ice set because when she's her ult, she gets the crit damage and the empowered Zavara counters, which is where a lot of her damage will come from. And because Clara's very, very slow, the crit damage will last quite a long time. With Seal, Seal can kind of use the Wind set, but I find it really redundant because she's already an incredibly fast character, so advance forwarding more than that is kind of like pointless. And using her ult will give her the crit damage. Of course, yeah, Hunt damage dealer, of course. Sushang is kind of identical to Seal, but different in the way that she can't really use the Wind set because when she uses her ult, using her ult does give her an advance forward of 100%, making the extra 20 or 24% advance forward completely useless. And of course, Sushang does increase her damage whenever she uses the ult with her increased chance to do the follow-up attack of her thing. I don't think they're actually follow-up attacks, but I forget what they're called. With the characters that could use both, I feel like Blade could use either one because he could increase his speed because he's not slow, but he's not super fast either, so he can use it to advance forward himself. He can use the Ice set to increase his damage just in general. Yeah. Okay, same thing with Dan, because yes, increases speed, increases crit damage. Yeah, you get it. Okay, Welt. Now, some will say that Welt is not a damage dealer, that he's Nihility. No. This guy is a damage dealer. He doesn't apply debuffs, he applies damage. So, yeah, using the Wind set will allow him to go more and slow the enemies down, or you can use the Ice set if you just want to deal more damage. Jinyuan, yeah, you can use technically both. Although I would probably like the Wind more, so you can make him act more, and he can have more Lightning Lord stacks. But the ice damage, the crit damage from the Ice set does potentially help him for Lightning Lord damage if you can get that in rotation. So Hook, yeah, Hook. A lot of Hook's kit is mainly based on her using her ult. So if she can use the wind set to make her act more and use her enhanced skill, it's helpful. Or use the ice set to make her deal more damage with the crit damage. Of course, yeah. Physical Trailblazer, self-explanatory. Technically use both, although I feel like it's more that Physical Trailblazer is a bit rough around the edges, rather than it's not that he can't use both, but it's just like his kit does not or his or her kit does not really do super well. I feel like Jinglu, she's kind of like Blade. Yeah, she's kind of like Blade. Uh, I forget her name. Serval. With Serval, yeah, of course. Use the wind set to make her apply her debuff or shock more, or potentially use her normal attacks more. So generate SP. Use ice if you want her to deal more upfront damage with her skills. Although I'm not sure about that, but yeah. Arlen, yeah, of course. Destruction character. You'd want him to go fast with wind set so he can reduce his HP much quicker than he obviously wouldn't have been able to. And the ice set for crit damage, because he's always gonna use his skill. Yeah, of course. Uh Yanqing. Yes, very self-explanatory. Use his ult, go fast, or do more damage. Although I would actually prefer him to go a bit faster with the wind set, but he can use both. Okay, with the characters that could technically use the wind and the ice, but the problem is with their playstyle. Himeko. I think Himeko could technically use wind, but I feel like most of her damage comes from her what's it called? Follow-up attack. Yeah, it's a follow-up attack, right? Meaning like you'd want to use ice set on Himeko, but it's like I feel like it's more that Himeko isn't good at all. Jingchoi, you want to use the wind set on her ult, because most of the time you use her ult in order to match 4 in case you use her skill 5 times and you don't get any matches. You also, I mean, technically you could use the ice set, but it feels like more that like you're not really using her ult. You're only using her ult as a backup plan, just so you use her skill 5 times, you don't get any matches, and then use her ult. So I feel like it would be way better if you use the quantum set on her, even though I don't think it's a good set. With Natasha, yeah, Natasha's a healer. She could technically use the wind set in order for herself to act faster, but technically she can use the wind set actually. Yeah, she can technically use the wind set. Maybe I should move her up there, but by technicality, okay, that's kind of an oversight on me. Because her what's it called? Her ult is not very expensive. It's like 100, I think, 100 or 90. I could be wrong on either one, but yeah. With Yukong can't use the wind set because, well, you don't want to break the speed that she has in line. Okay. Yukong can't really use the ice set because she's not a damage dealer, and she can't use the wind set because you don't want to break the order that you have if you've properly speed modulated. So yeah. Silverwolf. I mean, I guess Silverwolf can technically use the wind set to go faster, but it's like uh, uh, I don't like Silverwolf. I really don't like Silverwolf. Okay. Now with the characters that can't use it, of course Gepard can't use it. Herta, I mean, she has the ice damage, but like the problem is she doesn't really do that much damage, and her ult is not really worth using. I mean, okay, sure you want to spam it, but it's like Herta's not really that good of a character. March, tank set. Oh yeah, same with Gepard, tank set. Preservation Trailblazer, tank set. Why are you not running tank set for the tanks? With Bronya, I would say run wind, but I actually don't like it. Is because it's almost like the same thing with Yukong, where you want Bronya to be slightly slower than your main damage dealer. That way your damage dealer can always act, and then Bronya will go after, allowing Bronya to make your damage dealer make another turn. So yeah. Bailu's a healer, and her ult is actually kind of expensive. So a lot of the time, I mean, even then, Bailu doesn't really do anything that warrant her to have more actions. Most of the time, you'd rather just normal attack with her, but at that point, like, why are you not using Pell as a normal attacker? Why are you not using Luocha? Yeah. Yeah, and that's gonna be the list. I think I feel like you could change some characters depending on which, but yeah, Ice and Wind, very good set. I would always recommend farming it. And I mean, the other thing that's also worth farming is the World 7 artifact sets, or sorry, ornament sets. But I don't know if I want to. Okay, when it comes out, But if you made it this far, thanks. See you later. Bye.